Thank you very much for this opportunity to contribute to a meeting, not in person, but at least in this way. It's an excellent way for us to be able to contribute a little bit. And I'd like to use this opportunity to explain our position on climate change and migration as a Red Cross Red Crescent Federation. I'm the head of the Red Cross Red Crescent Climate Center based in the Netherlands, and we try to at least support the national societies of the Red Cross and Red Crescent to better understand and address the risks of climate change. Now, migration has been one of the key issues that came up in the last couple of years as being a risk that's going to increase because of climate change. And our position on this is basically twofold. One, we think migration is a very serious issue, and we invest a lot of our resources to understand it and to address it at places where we meet it. And you may know of the many places in Spain and Tenerife, along the African coast, but in particular also with internally displaced people, where the Red Cross and Red Crescent societies play a role to take care of these people. We also think climate change is a very serious issue. That was the reason why we set up the Climate Center in 2002, because we became aware of the risks of climate change, in particular the risk of more extreme weather events, leading to more disasters. And as a global organization, it is our responsibility to prepare people for these risks. But we are not so convinced about the current link between climate change and migration, for a number of reasons. First of all, climate change is accelerating, but not yet to the extent that it will lead to mass migration, not the climate change fingerprint of migration. Migration is fueled by many drivers, particularly poverty, conflicts and others. Weather-related disasters can be a tipping point, a moment that further pushes the incentives for migration, but then the climate change component in disasters is very difficult to detect and even to describe. So to summarize, we think climate change adaptation and climate change is a serious risk. We need to prepare for it. We think migration is a serious risk. We're not yet convinced about the link between the two. Over long term, we think there is a link if nothing is done to address the risk of climate change. So the best efforts today to avoid mass migration related to climate change is to start measures that reduce the emission of greenhouse gases that are the cause of climate change in itself. That we think today is the best message to prevent future mass migration related to climate change. When it comes to current measures to protect people and to strengthen their resilience, many of them are related to what we call disaster risk reduction, strengthening the resilience of people against risks, including climate change-related risks like extreme weather events. And that's a myriad of actions people can take, and they do take already. It's first of all understanding better how the weather is changing and whether we can anticipate those changes by better knowledge development of them and a better way of informing people who are vulnerable to address these risks, and then take on small measures like, which is very relevant in the local context. When malaria is on the increase, we may address malaria risks. When forests are cut in an area, maybe reforestation or conservation are good measures to reduce the risk of landslides. Water catchment systems to reduce the risk of drought are many adaptation measures people can take to be more resilient and to turn down and reduce the incentives for migration. This is in short our vision to the link between migration and climate change, and I hope it will help in your discussions. Thank you very much for this opportunity.